Webmasterradio.fm proudly presents the longest-running program on affiliate marketing. Welcome to Affiliate Buzz. Our hosts, James and Arlene Martell, are here to inspire, inform, and motivate you with expert insight, interviews, and information that will increase your bottom line. Advance your affiliate marketing efforts every week on Affiliate Buzz. Now, please welcome James and Arlene.
Yes, it's James Martell here, and welcome to edition number 474 of the Affiliate Buzz, where we've been keeping affiliates inspired, informed, and motivated to succeed with affiliate programs since way back in 2003. If you're joining us live here today on webmasterradio.fm, it's great to have you with us. If you happen to be joining us through a podcast on your smartphone, tablet, computer, or Wi-Fi radio, a very special welcome to you as well. Arlene is away today, however, not to worry. I have a very special guest joining us, David Dalka, founder and managing director of Fearless Revival. And if you recall, back in episode number 461, we talked about the potential for strategic positioning of performance marketing to make sure you're getting paid what you are worth. Now, today we're going to continue that conversation, and we're going to have a little bit of fun talking about CPM advertising and its adverse effect on our society, among other things. Now, before David joins us, though, if you would like to wake up in the morning to an email from your virtual assistant telling you your blog and social media have been updated, your next email newsletter is ready and has been scheduled, your YouTube channel has grown by 38 new followers, and you have made 10 new sales for a total of $350 overnight. You need my brand new 3rd edition Outsourcing Essentials course, where I share with you the secrets to building your business by leveraging low-cost freelance talent to explode your profits. In the course, I share with you what I've learned over the last 15 years outsourcing over 1,600 projects through Elance/Upwork and working directly with over 500 freelancers. If you'd like to find out the details on that course, just simply send an email to the help desk at jamesmartell.com, and Arlene, my wife, will be happy to pop off the details to you right away. Again, that's helpdesk at jamesmartell.com. Now, David Dalka, again, is the founder and managing director of Fearless Revival. He advises chief executive officers, global leaders, and their teams to rethink perspectives and reshape priorities about business, technology, and trends in society. David translates symptoms, buzzwords, and information overload into actionable root causes. David completed an MBA at the University of Chicago. As part of his ongoing research and passion for lifelong learning, he participated in thousands of events, read thousands of books and research papers, and conducted podcasts with authors to ask deeper questions to gain new insights. As a result of this research, David discovered the need to found Fearless Revival. David, welcome back to the Affiliate Buzz.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back here talking with you, James. It's always fun to talk about the world in a way that's meaningful and interesting.
It was, and it's going to be again today, I have a feeling, because of some of the things that we're watching developing online that is relatively new in everybody's world, and I think most listeners are probably aware of it. Maybe some are not, but it's going to be interesting to talk a little bit about CPM in depth as to what's going on, as you and I discussed before the show here. Before we do that, though, why don't you give us a background on yourself for those listeners that maybe didn't pick up episode 461, and
Sure.
Bring us, give us a little recap of what we talked about in that episode.
Sure. My background is originally in financial services. I worked for what is now the world's largest investment manager, Blackrock, during the phase it grew from 80 to 800 employees. During that time, I learned a lot about how to change business models and workforces and leverage IT to do so. That experience guides me every day today. And after some career changes after 9/11 and some things there, I got involved in the digital marketing world, mostly on the search side, and I became fascinated with how people didn't adapt to new forms of digital marketing very well. Companies are just resistant to new ways of looking at those things and implementing them, and I saw these patterns over and over again, and I saw how some businesses adapted easily and some didn't. That has to do with leadership and culture and how focused you are on the customer and things like that. But it also has to do with, who do you do business with and what kind of contracts do you sign and why? And, that's what eventually led me to found Fearless Revival, which is, most people are getting, paying filet mignon prices for hamburger meat in terms of strategy consulting and professional services. And then on the side of the world you're on here, a lot of advertising agencies are still charging a percentage of ad spend model, which isn't necessarily in the best interest of the organizations that they claim to serve.
Yeah, that's always been an interesting thing. The more we spend, the more I make.
Sometimes.
And it's not based, obviously, there's a lot of time on results. It's like take a percentage of the ad spend. To me, that puts it completely on the wrong side of the equation. It's like that means they're in my opinion, they're measuring they've got the wrong measurement going on.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point. Is one of the things I will always inevitably talk about when I engage with organizations is success metrics. How do you define success? Because you'd be amazed. Sometimes people don't ever think about that. They don't ever rethink about that. It was decided when the company was founded and it's never changed in many cases. And yeah, the world around us does change. And, sometimes what was an appropriate success metric at one point might not be now. And, that changes and people... people don't always think those things through fully, and part of that has to do with, the world of technology and automation, which also tends to make those, now we get reports on our desk, and they come out and they're very rigid, and people don't always, say what are the three other ways I could look at this today, as much as they used to. When you wrote stuff down and thought about it, or somebody calculated something manually by hand, or all those different things, the details get lost, right? People don't always think about what they're doing and why. I think when you look at this topic, CFOs obsess over the ROI reports from marketing on their desks, but have they ever thought about the incentives they're giving their providers and their partners, and do those make sense?
Reminds me of the saying, be careful, pick your habits very carefully. You're going to be in them a long time. I was just reading an article this morning on The Verge, verge.com, and the interesting article is that Facebook is determined to completely kill clickbait. And you and I talked a little bit about CPM and how things have changed. And in the article, they go on, without getting political, we'll stay away from the politics of it, but just, they say in here, the explosion of fake news, spam, and misinformation campaigns last year in the wake of the contentious U.S. election. And then they go on to say how it's caused a real problem on Facebook and other sites, for that matter, where there's just so much fake news, and not necessarily the fake news, quote unquote, that Donald Trump talks about. We're just talking about content that's being created en masse. That's just BS. It's made up stuff, sensational headlines, and just to really get that click. And you and I talked about a little bit about that, how CPM, this was your line, how CPM advertising is adversely affecting our society. Talk to that, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's the success metrics that most of these websites, most of which are medium-sized lifestyle businesses, use to judge the success of their website is how many clicks did that piece of information get. So, so that local investigative reporting about something that's not quite right with your local government isn't going to get international news. Therefore, there's less of an incentive for that local newspaper to put as much resources into that as they once did when they had extra resources and could subsidize that with other forms of revenue and things like that. Same thing with certain types of business news. There's less detail. There's less, availability of that type of thing. But yet there's more cat videos on the web than there's ever been. There's more Kardashian news and other celebrity news, and then there's this segment of the internet, which is kind of like the lawyers, the ambulance chases is the lawyers, what the top news story of the day is to blogs, the big blogs, the big big blogs, not the kind of blogs you and I have, but the ones that have double click ads around them. Those guys, they're out there and they're saying, hey, what's the hottest story I can find? So they look at the Twitter trending thing, and then there's like 90,000 more stories about that item. And, so what eventually happens is there's more and more stuff where it gets overcovered. And then there's more and more stuff that's important that doesn't get any coverage at all. So, we only have so much time in a day. We only have so much content we can consume. So some of this type of content you described in your introduction there is becoming more and more prevalent, while niche quality content is becoming rarer and more difficult to find.
And it's getting to be annoying. And I know you don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I actually happen to spend a fair bit of time on there. And I've really noticed that the feeds have been just become polluted with these types of stories. And I'm always surprised at how quickly people jump on them. And it takes some people catch it right away, say, hey, this is fake. This is not true. This is not real. But meanwhile, that conversation has just took off and everybody's arguing about something that wasn't even real. And it's like, wake up. Hello. It's like, come on. But a lot of people are missing this, aren't they?
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly the issue. I mean you state it pretty well. I mean it's happening there, but again, it happens because of the model of which people agree to the advertise. If CPM advertising didn't exist, the incentive to just get as many random clicks as possible would be gone. And that's my whole point about what we talked about in the last podcast with the potential for performance advertising to dramatically change the world is that's real. And every single person listening to this and the millions of other people that are affected by it that aren't listening to this need to get an understanding of why that's happening, what that means, and the potential for it to change. Because, we know people that are stressed out over the same stuff being seen over and over again. Like I said, I look at Facebook less than I used to this year, for that reason. Maybe it's also because I'm busier with other things, but it's at the same time, it's just, it's the same stuff over and over and over and over again. And it's, it's not as, it's not as exciting as it once was.
Now I'm here with David Dalka, founder and managing director of Fearless Revival. When we get back, we're going to dig in and talk a little bit more about maybe some of the problems businesses run into when they're not when they really haven't defined their strategic positioning. We'll do that and more right after the break.
More Affiliate Buzz coming up after we hear from our sponsors.
Thousands affected by Hurricane Harvey urgently need support. Your donation can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to these families. Please donate today. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS or text the word Harvey to 90999. Your support is critical. We cannot do it without you.
Is your website hacked? Is your website displaying error messages or loading slowly? Even if there are no signs of malicious activity, your site may still be compromised. Websites, like cars, require regular maintenance to perform at their best and not leave you stranded. At Fjorge, our website maintenance experts can help you assess which one of our maintenance plans will best support your needs. Visit fjorgedigital.com or call 612-877-3840 and get the support and protection your website and business deserve. That's FJORGE digital.com.
Are you looking for the best in WordPress speed, security, and scalability? WP Engine is a digital experience platform for WordPress, powering digital experiences for large brands around the world. With easy-to-use site management tools and powerful do-it-your-way development features, WP Engine gives you the flexibility to build it your way. Improve your SEO and conversion rates with a faster site on WP Engine. Learn more on WPEngine.com.
Start your search engine and put your servers into overdrive. It's webmasterradio.fm steering you into the winner's circle. Webmasterradio.fm. We're everywhere.
Time now to hear some more affiliate buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Arlene is away today. However, I'm here with David Dalka, founder and managing director of Fearless Revival, and we're talking about the potential for strategic positioning for performance marketing to make sure you're getting paid what you are worth. So, David, let's dig into that. Why is it important for businesses to clearly define their strategic positioning?
Well, because it affects what you do with your marketing. And a lot of people just start and they go and they chase the things that everybody says they should do, and they usually chase it from the brand marketing paradigm. To give an example of that, I recently met with a CFO of a Fortune 500 company at an event, and we were talking, and we've known each other for a couple of years. And he says, "Oh, you'd be really excited about this. We built out this conversion group." I was like, "Okay, tell me about it." And he's like, "Oh, we built out a team of 30 people, and they sit there and A/B test the conversion stuff all day." And I said, "Okay, great. How many people do you got making sure you have the right traffic coming to the website in the first place?"
Mm-hmm.
And there's silence, like dead silence. And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "Just that." "Well, I'm sure somebody is." "Okay, who? What department? Where?"
Yeah.
And and I slowly made my point, and it's like, I can, the most outrageous example I like to use for that is, if I take NFL.com traffic and drive it to a feminine hygiene site, it doesn't matter what color the buttons are on the website. Not gonna change the conversion rate. Right? It's not going to do that. So it's about, who is your customer, the basics, it's not about magic technology, and it's not about pressing a button, and it's not about calling Google. It's about who's your customer, what's the customer model and attraction model and frequency and timing and, funnel and all, which are different for different businesses. And that's what drives me nuts about, some of this industry is you meet people that are still out there doing the same 10 things every website. We're not going to mention their names. We're not going to do that.
Oh, I might.
Okay, well, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, but, it's out there and it's crazy. So you see this stuff where, like that guy, he, take what a 30-person department costs in a Fortune 500 company, and he skipped step one. Who's your customer? Step two, what's your strategy for attracting those customers? Step three, okay, now what's my media plan and content plan and search marketing plan and affiliate plan for attracting those people? And he skipped the step four. We'll just have some guys do some A/B testing on conversion. But that's not uncommon. And that's the crisis, and it's an unspoken crisis. And whether it's that, or whether it's people who bring me some of these large leverage consulting firm decks from time to time, and they show me, this doesn't include my department, and I have a $10 million budget, and it doesn't include it. I'm talking a 5-year plan that doesn't include their department, and they're like saying, hey, everything is a crisis because people are coming to me 6 months after I should do that. It doesn't have to be this way. If you go through the right business strategy planning process, if you think about, what changes need to be led and why with that, and then understand the process that it's not about hiring a psychologist to do that. It's about hiring somebody to figure out what changes need to be led and why, and then guiding you through a process that can get you there. And that's what's being skipped in this ecosystem is frequently the right business basics. But then even when they do decide to do something, they gravitate to some buzzword. I need to do buzzword 457, and we're going to do an initiative for 2 years on that, and blah 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 blah, and because everybody else is doing buzzword 457, and meanwhile, it's not even something relevant to their business model or customer model half the time.
You know, it's interesting. I remember back in 2005, 2006, I wrote a book for one-on-one hosting called Online Success for Non-Techies, How to Take Your Business, Hobby, or Profession to the Internet. And we put a little deal together, and I ended up writing that book for their customer base. And I was invited over, and I knew the affiliate management team who were based out of the U.S., and they were kicking butt. I mean, seriously kicking butt. And they were competing. They were talking 3 people. We're competing against their entire print division. And they're the largest hosting company in the world, so they're substantial. And they had a budget of something like 30 million euros a year for print. And when I got to Germany and went into their offices, they had an entire wall, just a sea of magazines of all of the issues that they're in on a monthly basis. So we're talking substantial ad play, and they're competing against, in their minds they were saying, well, let's do this internet thing, but this is our main strategy here. And I just happened to be lucky enough to be sitting in the affiliate managers, the senior guy. There's only 3 of them, but the top guy on the day that those 3 guys did more sales and more revenue than the entire print department. So sometimes, back to the strategic positioning and thinking it, sometimes I would think that just because this is working, we don't need to look at other things. And I think that's a good example of it. They didn't. Now, guess what? They spend a lot more time in the affiliate space on the online model as magazines have slumped away. But I think that's probably a big factor as well, as companies are used to doing things one way, and this is the way it's always worked. So why would we look at anything else?
Yeah, and that's, that has several elements. It has the element of, people are creatures of habit, most of us. There's a small amount of us that really enjoy, naturally curious lifelong learning, but it's the smaller portion. Carol Dweck's famous book Mindset talks about fixed mindset versus, what we just talked about there, and it's still a best-selling book. As a matter of fact, that book is so popular that Amazon has one of these little test bookstores that they're popping up in places, and it's 4 blocks from my house here. So I walked into it, and there's literally only 500 books in the store. So if you think about all the books that Amazon has, and that one that came out 10 years ago is evergreen and sells frequently enough that they put it on the shelf there. They have the analytics about what sells and what doesn't very well. I mean, it's amazing. So it's a popular topic, yet it's a structural problem that's always present in almost every situation in the company. There's people that welcome change. There's people that don't welcome change, and it causes all kinds of problems, ranging from resistance to underhiring to leaving roles open that they don't want to succeed to you name it, or underfunding certain projects while overfunding other ones. Going back to that conversion idea, why does CMO of that company do that? Well, they're a brand marketer and they're more comfortable talking about colors and shapes of buttons than they are business strategy, IT strategy, and customer strategy. So I mean, it's what do you define those roles as? How do you bring that in there, and bring it across? And it all starts with, who's your customer? What are you doing for your customer? Why are you doing that? And then asking the question: do I have the right org chart and the right resources doing the right things to achieve that?
And then, so you'd mentioned the 4 items, beginning with identifying clearly who your customer is, and that's always an interesting exercise. And we do a lot of training, and that's the first thing we always have everybody do. And it's always amazing to me how many people really
have no idea.
They have no idea. It's like, and they guess, right? And then we drill down and we drill down and we drill down until we really define and figure out exactly who their customer is. And then you said number 2, number 3, number 4 was clearly defining their strategic positioning. And so that you can determine what type of advertising you want to do. Is that what you said?
I think, we went through, who's your customer, aligning your resources to those activities, then having a business strategy and culture that supports that, and then you do something like conversion testing. You don't do that first. The idea that somebody's going to do conversion testing and transform their company to be focused on the customers is a joke. It's not even close. In fact, it's the opposite. Going back to my most extreme example, you could look at your web analytics and you could actually make the wrong decisions. If you have the wrong traffic on the website to begin with, and they're constantly backing out, and you change the colors, and you can actually make it worse. You can make it worse. So it's just crazy, and that's always been my problem with A/B testing is there's always an option C.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I must say, now that you point it out, I can't argue with you. And I won't.
You could, though. You could always argue with me. It's fun.
Well, yeah, now, so
we don't argue.
We talked a little bit back to selecting the type of advertising or promotion that you want for your business. And we talked a little bit about Facebook and the problems that I think they're having, and obviously they think they're having it because they're trying to, at least they say they're trying to fix that, get rid of the clickbait and the fake news. But there are other people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Jason Calacanis who have their own style where they're more, especially Jason, really shocked, right? I remember seeing him at Affiliate Summit for the first time probably 6 or 8 years ago. And he got up on stage and he just said the most outrageous things just to get the attention. And of course the blogger world went off and the whole thing just was
that in Las Vegas?
That was in Las Vegas, yep.
Did you remember a guy at the end heckling him and saying he was a hypocrite?
Yep.
That was me.
Really? But obviously he doesn't do that by accident. That's his, obviously he's from now what you're mentioning, he's clearly designed his strategic position to do that. He's going to go to make a name for himself by doing that because he does it all the time.
Yeah. Now he's one of those people where, I did something and therefore I'm the angel investor. He just came out with a new book. It's all about angel investing. And, he's walking around, becoming the center of these processes. And all he's trying to do is find the next layer of people to pay more for a company invested in than he did. It has nothing to do with the types of things you and I are really interested in doing, which is helping the people we serve, make more money every day and create a better business. It has to do with, more of these other things. And I think I saw somewhere where, he was an early investor in this company and that company, and the article just went on. And, it's like, okay, great. What involvement did he have in actually making it happen? Money isn't what makes those companies grow. Execution of business strategy is what makes a company grow.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can see we are overdue for a break. Again, I'm here with David Dalka, founder and managing director of Fearless Revival. We'll be right back.
More Affiliate Buzz coming up after we hear from our sponsors.
Webmasterradio.fm is the destination for education, entertainment, and engagement. Engage with our panel of on-air experts and peers by following us on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can listen to Webmasterradio.fm on air or on demand from our website or through iTunes, Stitcher, or however you get your podcasts. Interact and stay informed. Just search for Webmasterradio.fm.
Looking for a better way to get more traffic and interaction to your Facebook page? Imagine Facebook interactivity on your page like you've never seen. Introducing your new Facebook marketing fix, Social, the new and revolutionary way to easily manage and automate your Facebook contests and sweepstakes. Create a fun, easy-to-win contest by writing a simple Facebook post. Watch your post go more viral and generate loads of interaction. Track your traffic and generate email lists with ease. Social is mobile-friendly and complies with Facebook terms of service. Let Social give your Facebook page some flash today. Zoom over to zosocial.com.
There are over 70 million active podcast listeners in the U.S. Webmasterradio.fm reaches them all with the largest global distribution of any online business-to-business podcast network through iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher. We can target and place your message in front of those active listeners immediately. Now, your message can be delivered with less commitment and investment on over 20 hours of weekly original content, hosted by the most respected names in digital marketing. Email sales@webmasterradio.fm today and get your message delivered now.
Podcasting at the speed of sound. Webmasterradio.fm, the flamethrower. Webmasterradio.fm, we're everywhere.
Time now to hear some more affiliate buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Arlene is away today, however. I'm here with David Dalka, founder and managing director of Fearless Revival, and we're talking about the potential for strategic positioning of performance marketing. Now, let's, David, we're coming up against the clock here. We got a couple minutes. So do us this favor and tell us about your strategic advisory services. I also know you're a keynote speaker and hold retreats as well. Fill us in on fearlessrevival.com and what you do again.
Sure. I mostly want to help people take the symptoms and the problems they have and turn them into root causes so they can take action to fix them. And it really comes down to that basic issue is enabling that. And to do that, I think people need to not sit in the same room and do things every day. So I love to do executive retreats where I get people out of their office, go somewhere different and explore how the world might have been different at some time in the past, and tour some of that, look at some history, explore some culture that's different than the one you live in every day, and do those types of things. And then get into an advisory situation where I can walk the company through some steps to do that, but in an incremental way where I still leave that executive in charge and I put choices in them and educate them instead of doing what some consultants do, which is demean their customers and say, here's what you do, and bang them through some process. And I like to customize, and I like to customize because I actually enjoy seeing how the different situations look like.
So how can listeners learn more online and, of course, reach out to you?
Sure. They can reach out to fearlessrevival.com. Or they could call me, of course, at 520-223-4808. I'm always happy to take their call. I actually answer my own phone calls, no fancy call centers or anything like that. And because it's about real relationships with real people.
Let's say that's strategic positioning.
Yeah.
Answering the phone.
Yeah, you got to do that.
It's amazing how many companies don't. Now, I can see, David, we are out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us today and, really jumping into some very interesting conversation to get us thinking a little bit. It's been really good, and it's great to have you on again.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, James. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Now, keep in mind that if there's anything David mentioned here today that you missed, that we always take all the show notes for you, including links to everything mentioned here. And you'll find the show notes for this particular episode at jamesmartell.com/AB474. I also invite you to come out and hang out with us here every Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific time on webmasterradio.fm for the affiliate buzz. And a final reminder that if you'd like to be alerted to new episodes each week, I invite you to take 10 seconds right now, open an email and send a blank email to affiliate_buzz@aweber.com, and then you'll be alerted to each new episode. We'd love to have you on board. Again, that's affiliate_buzz@aweber.com. David, thanks again. And to our listeners, thanks for listening to another edition of the Affiliate Buzz.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.